Hi, everyone. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about your fiction projects. Many of you have submitted your preliminary fiction projects, and so I've marked those and made some specific comments. And so you want to make sure that you're looking at those specific comments. If you haven't yet submitted the preliminary fiction projects, notice that they are there. They're in the folder from, I guess, the 19th to the 21st, I think it is. But that weekend folder, I hadn't put I hadn't explained that the link was in that folder. I hadn't given you the note outside it was in there, but I didn't tell you on the outside of the folder that it was there. But if you go in there, you can submit the preliminary fiction project. So go ahead and get that done. As you're thinking about this, I want you to think about how it is we're going to move from the preliminary to the final fiction project. And so here's an example of a student's preliminary fiction project. And I want to talk about there's some good things here. It's a perfect preliminary project, right? And it's something I want to emphasize is that when I'm making suggestions, it's not because I'm saying you did such a bad job. What I'm saying is it's preliminary, and preliminary is about drafting. Is this sense of coming up with ideas, seeing what's working, what's not working, and then moving on to the next stage. And so the comments I'm making are all constructive. Aren't any kind of issues, and I think that this is a perfect example of a preliminary project. I think this person's doing a good job, but there are some suggestions we can think about moving forward. One of the things also with the preliminary projects, a lot of people were choosing things that were a little fantastic. That is, things that don't seem like they're taking place in the real world, which is perfectly fine. But I do just want to emphasize the fact that that doesn't have to be the case. That this kind of journey is something that oftentimes happens in fantastical stories. Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, all those things are these kinds of journey stories. But as we saw from the stories that we read for class, all of those were very realistic. So just keep in mind that you can choose either one. So let's look at this one. That is somewhat fantastic, and let's talk about what's working here and what we can do to potentially improve it. So it's called Until Dawn. It says, in the small village of Elden Ridge, nestled between emerald hills and between skies with hues of twilight. Those are nice descriptions. Lived a young boy named Oliver. Really nice description. The emerald hills, sky painted with hues of twilight. With wide eyes like the moon and a heart brimming with curiosity, Oliver always felt a magnetic pull toward the mysterious whispering woods on the outskirts of the village. That's really nice. This idea of that these woods are out there, they're calling, and we can see a journey about to take place in there. And I think that these wide eyes like the moon is great. Heart brimming with curiosity. Those are really good descriptions, and we can set this up and see that Oliver is ready to go on a journey. However, one of the things that we can potentially do as we're moving to a longer story is to begin to think about really who Oliver is and what is it that he's going to learn on his journey. And so far from here, we have this sense of curiosity, which is fine. People can be curious about things. But when we're going on this journey story, it's also useful to be able to think about exactly what kind of person Oliver is going to be going into this and how exactly will this journey change him. So again, think about what happened with the flowers. We know how innocent Mayap is. She thinks the world is safe. She thinks it's all beautiful. It's all for fun. And then she's going to discover something that's going to tell her, oh, wait, that's not what the world is like at all. And so we just get that little bit of information here. Here, we just have a curiosity, again, which makes a certain amount of sense, but we could dig a little bit deeper to begin to think about what is it that's going on inside of him that's going to allow for some kind of learning upon this journey. And again, one of the common ways that we have this, and again, you'll see this with something like Harry Potter or things like that, we have the misunderstood character, right? The character who everybody is kind of like looking down on, but it turns out that they have all these special things. Cinderella is like that, right? All the stepsisters are mean to Cinderella, but it turns out she's actually very special. The step family, it's always times not, I guess, aunt and uncle in Harry Potter. We always oftentimes have somebody who's an orphan and they have to go live with other family members who don't understand them. And in Harry Potter, he's got to go live with these family members who don't understand how special he is, but through the journey that he's going to realize how special he is. Star Wars, Luke Skywalker living with his aunt and uncle. His aunt and uncle kind of know how special he is, but they want to keep him down on the farm. But then he's going to go out on a journey across the galaxy and learn how special he is. And so sometimes we can have some of those kinds of things that give us a sense of, oh, I've learned something about who I am. I've found some kind of inner strength in here. And I think that's a possible element that we can be adding here. So good descriptions. We're setting this up for a journey. We've got a nice introductory paragraph here that sets that up. But I think that there's a bit more that we could add to that when we have when we're bringing this up to the full length. Then we start off. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows, Oliver's yearning for the unknown became too strong to resist. Right, and I think that this moves really well. He's got this mysterious pull, and then he can't resist it, and he's going to go out. He ventured out into the whispering woods, where ancient trees stood like sentinels. Nice simile there, like sentinels. Their branches whispering secrets carried by the breeze. The air within the woods hummed with an otherworldly energy, and every step seemed to resonate with a mystical rhythm. These are really nice descriptions of what it feels like to be in this woods. A mystical rhythm. A wood doesn't have a rhythm. It doesn't have, literally, it doesn't have that. But that kind of a description helps us feel this in a way that we wouldn't feel that before. So I think that's a really nice description that we have there. As Oliver walked deeper in the woods, as Oliver walked deeper, the woods transformed into a clash of bright colors and shimmering lights. Those are great descriptions. Fireflies danced around him, leaving trails of momentary stardust. Wow. All right. So I feel like I'm in there. This seems very magical. The fact that the fireflies seem like stardust, I feel like I am in this otherworldly place. I'm ready for things to happen. Amidst the ethereal glow, Oliver encountered a wise silver-furred fox named Celestia. With a twinkle in her eyes, Celestia beckoned Oliver to follow her through a hidden passage, unlocking a portal to a realm beyond imagination. Sorry, the cat's wanting to get out. So now we're going to go someplace beyond imagination. Let's see that. In this enchanting realm, Oliver discovered landscapes painted with dreams and skies adorned with constellations that whispered forgotten tales. All right, that's not bad. That's interesting, but notice that it doesn't have that same immediacy. I feel like we're there. It's like a summary. And this is one of the things I'm getting with a lot of the ones that we have. And that's completely understandable because I told you to write something fairly short, like 350 words. And so in 350 words, you have a tendency to summarize, which is on some level what I wanted you to do some summary, because I just wanted you to get an idea about what some of the things that you could put in there were, and then you can begin to expand on them. So this begins to summarize because discovered landscapes, there's a bunch of them, right? As opposed to this that we see up here that we see in a lot of detail. And I want this to come to have that same level of detail. So let's go to a specific place instead of going, so in general, there were a bunch of adventures, and a number of you were doing this. We're going across the sea and people saying, and there were a bunch of difficulties and adventures. We need to see the specific adventures in here. And so for the longer version, again, it's something completely understandable for the preliminary version, but for the longer version, you want to think about being much more detailed. So Celestia, his guide through the surreal odyssey, revealed that the journey was not just about external wonders of this realm, but also an exploration of the labyrinth within his own heart. Well, that's true, right? That's what we want. We want to learn what's going on inside of him. But notice that we didn't set that up at the beginning. We didn't know at the beginning that we're supposed to exactly what he's exploring in his heart. What is that issue that he needs to deal with? And so, since we didn't set that up at the beginning, we don't know what to do with that. And so, sometimes when we have issues at the middle and the end, we need to say, let's say at the beginning what the issues are, and then we're going to be ready to explore them, right? And again, you think about those kind of stories that we know, Harry Potter, things like that, where they've got the issues already before they go off to go deal with those things, and we know what those are. So we need to set that up from the beginning. So to be able to say that he needs to explore that within his own heart, Oliver was warned that if he hadn't reinvented himself by dawn, he would be stuck in this realm forever. So what does it mean for him to represent himself? That's something that we could have learned in the first paragraph, and then we would know, oh, this is what you need to do. The kinds of challenges that he's going to face are going to be specific to to what it is that he's going to need to learn to, in fact, reinvent himself. So we need to define that much more specifically. As Dawn approached, Oliver faced a mirror that reflected not his physical form, that the essence of his being. Again, I need to know what that is, and we should have been building that up from the first paragraph. On its reflective surface, he witnessed moments of joy, sorrow, courage, and vulnerability. But again, I don't know exactly what that means for him. What it is he supposed to be learning? What was the issue before that he had besides curiosity that caused him to go on this journey? And then we can understand exactly how he's going to be changing. And then we go in this paragraph with newfound wisdom. What did he actually learn? I don't know. It's just a kind of a general idea. Oliver returned to Elden Ridge, his heart filled with magic from his life-changing adventure. Again, how exactly did it change him? What is it that he learned? How did these specific challenges change him? Is he somebody who didn't think he was very brave, but then through these adventures he learns out that he's brave? Is that's what it is? Is he somebody who doesn't have faith in something, but then through these adventures he learns to have faith? What exactly is going to change here? And so we need to set that up from the beginning so we understand how to deal with it here. He was forever changed by the timeless truths he learned. Embracing vulnerability, power of resilience. All this is good, right? But if his embracing vulnerability is the issue, we should have seen that at the beginning, right, in the first paragraph. If the power of resilience was important, we should have seen that in the first paragraph. So thinking about how we set those things up very specifically, and then when we go through the journey, we can say, oh, so this is how you learn to embrace vulnerability. You have this problem with vulnerability in the first paragraph. The adventures that we go on are going to teach you something about embracing vulnerability, and then it's going to make some sense when we learn it at the end. So keep all that in mind as we're going through, right? That we need to have a clear sense all the way throughout of what. Sorry, my cat's driving me crazy. We need to have a clear sense throughout of exactly what it is we're supposed to be learning, what is it that from the beginning, and then how those adventures help us understand that, and then we can have the resolution at the end. So keep that in mind as you're moving from your preliminary version to your full version.